Hi guys, this is Soraya Luternel, your Big Island Realtor, and today we're going to talk about Kailua-Kona, or the Big Island, with kids, what you can do with them. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to break it down into 3 categories. Each one is going to be based on the age of your children, and then I'll just suggest, like as if you were my friend and coming to the Big Island, and what I would suggest to you. So we're going to talk about beaches, the best beaches for the kids depending on the age, and then the best activities or suggestions of activities that you could do with your kids around that age that maybe you didn't see in a guide, that could be more of like a local thing that you may not have found online. So I hope this video is helpful, and let's get right into the first age group. First age group is kids under 5. I know we love our little babies, and sometimes we want to make sure that they're safe when we go to the beach, and that it's a beach that's not too strong of a current and it's a little bit more protected, but yet they can also play a little bit more freely. So I'm mostly going to suggest beaches that are a little bit more shallow, or that have, like a barrier of rocks around it so that the waves aren't as strong. And so here are the best beaches for kids under 5. I would suggest the Keiki ponds. It's kind of hard to find the first time, but you essentially just go to the public natarium, you walk across the soccer field, and then it's hard to find, but in the corner on the left, there's actually a staircase that says, public access to a beach. Then you cross through a private neighborhood of homes that are around 5+ million, and right there they have their own little private beach that's very, very well protected, and your kids will be super safe there. It's just such a cute little beach. It is on a smaller side, so you have to keep that in mind, that there's going to be a lot of people if it's a nice day on the weekend, but it's a great beach if you have tiny little ones, and it's actually named after that, Keiki ponds, kids ponds. Okay. The other beach that I would bring, little kids under 5, other beach where I would bring kids under 5 is Kukio Beach. Kukio Beach is also one of those beaches that's a little bit harder to access because it's a beach in a private neighborhood. It's a very high-end neighborhood, with top of the line, top CEOs that own in that neighborhood. And what they do is they give you a beach access, and they only provide 10 beach accesses per day. So you drive, it's about a 10 to 15 minute drive from downtown Kona. So you drive all the way to the Kukio community. There's a little gate with guards that are there. You tell them, hey, I want to go to the beach. They'll give you a pink slip, and you put that on your dashboard, and they'll direct you on how to get to the beach. They actually have to buzz you in at each gate. They have a camera, you press the button, they let you through, because they only want you to go to the public beach. They don't want you to wander around into the neighborhood. But the beach is beautiful. It has 2 sides to it, essentially. There's one side that is very shallow, very protected, and kids love to play there. The public amenities of like the shower, the bathrooms, all that stuff are of course top notch because it's a top neighborhood. And then once you walk past this, let's say your kids are not like 1 or 2, they're more like 3 to 5 and they need a little bit more, you can go to the other side of the bay, which is again super, super shallow, very, very low waves, because the entire bay is maybe like 2 feet to 3 feet deep at most. It's very, very cute. The sunsets are amazing there, and we actually see seals on that beach very frequently. They'll swim with you, and then they'll come on the shore. They also have baby seals that go over there. So it's a very well protected area, and I think little kids would love it there. The other beach that I would suggest to younger children is Waikoloa. It's a little bit of a hike driving. You have to drive through a lot of rocky areas. We see all types of cars that go there, so you don't necessarily need a Jeep. I mean, I've seen rental cars that are like tiny little shoes, and they get through the entire way. It does get a little dicey. Sometimes they don't take care of the road. Sometimes they do. And by take care, I mean fill it. The main problem is as you drive there, you'll find like kind of big dips getting to that beach. And then once you get past that, It's so funny. The closer you get to the beach, the more paved and level it is. But to get there is kind of hard. So that's just something to keep in mind. And same thing, that beach is actually multiple different bays. So you have the first one that is next to the public restrooms, and you have little picnic tables. That's one area where it's a little bit shallow. Then you have another one, then another one, then another one. But you have to hike between each little bay. But the first two are very shallow, very easy. I think little kids, you can easily watch them. It's like a nice area to be. The fourth beach that I would recommend for kids under 5 is Mauna Kea. Mauna Kea Beach is same thing, kind of hard to find, hard to get there, hard to get parking. But once you get there, it is so interesting to me how few people are there. There's usually not a lot of people. Most people go to Hapuna. It's beautiful. I mean, it looks like a picture as you walk through to get to that beach. And it's same thing, shallow, just a beautiful area. Okay. The second part of this is I'm going to recommend certain activities for your children. So for kids under 5, there's a seahorse farm on the way to the airport. It's super fun. You can, dip your fingers in the water. The seahorses wrap around your finger and just kind of hang out. I think little kids would love that if they're able to not squeeze the seahorse. The other thing that you could do is there is a goat farm, which is a goat cheese farm in the north part of the Big Island. And that's really cute because they're dwarfs. They're really, really small little goats, super friendly. You can pet them. They teach you about how they make the cheese. You can do tastings. It's kind of fun for little kids. There's also a rescued animal farm in Kailua-Kona where they have all types of different animals that live right here, and they're all rescued. So it's a fun place to be with little kids. So for kids 6 through 10, that's the second section. The best beaches that I would recommend are Magic Sands, which is right in Kona, Kahaluu, which is also right in Kona, the Pines, which is a little bit outside of Kona, probably 7-minute drive from downtown. And then Ebe. Ebe is all the way up in the north in the Waikoloa area. So these are the 4 that I would recommend, mostly because you can do snorkeling, you can do surfing, you can do a lot of supping or kayaking. I usually recommend Kona Boys. If you're looking Kahaluu or on the Kailua Pier, they have a little shack there and you can get boards, you can get kayaks, you can get all those things. And if you're a big group coming to the Big Island, like we did that for our for not the wedding, but the day before the wedding, we had gatherings and it was kind of fun. But they'll set up chairs, they'll have the umbrellas, they'll do everything for you. It's included in the price, and they'll have coolers with drinks, so you don't have to come and get all your gear and all that stuff. They'll do it for you, which is really cool. So you can snorkel in Kahaluu. If you're looking for a very easy hike to do, let's say you have a 6 to 7-year-old that can get kind of grumpy if something is a little too long, I would take them to Pololu because it's a super easy hike. You drive all the way up there and you hike down to get to the beach, and it's super, super easy. And then of course you have to hike back up, but hopefully by then you'll have drank all the water and gotten a lot of heavy stuff out of the way, so it'll be easier. But it's a very, very easy hike with kids. Then you can also go to Mauna Kea. I would do that with 6 to 10 years old. All you have to do is you take the car, doesn't matter what kind of car, you don't need 4x4 wheel drive. You drive all the way up to the visitor center, and there's maybe a 1-mile hike from the visitor center to a viewing spot. That's very level, very easy hike. It's very straightforward. There's no way to get lost. And from there, it's a beautiful sunrise or beautiful sunset. We've gone there for sunset with a lot of friends, with little kids. It gets chilly right once the sun is, under or not warming you up. It gets cold really fast, but it's beautiful. It's a beautiful area because you're above the clouds. It feels just like you're on Mars and out of this world. The other thing that I would do with younger children is take them to the waterfalls on the northeast side of the island. They're super easy hikes. Again, you drive all the way to the bottom of the hike almost, or to the bottom of the waterfall. The hikes are so short, there must be less than a mile, and they're very, very well guarded, so you don't have to worry too much. These are pretty easy to do. Another thing that I would do that I think would be fun with kids like that who want to do things that are maybe a little bit more interactive is I would do a Puna chocolate tour, farm tour, where they teach you, you know, the fermenting process of the chocolate. They show you the cacao pods, how they like crack them, then you empty out the little pods and you put them to ferment, and then after that how you like cook the chocolate and make your own chocolate bar and you get to eat the chocolate. So I think kids would really, really like that. It's a really, really fun process. Now, if your kids are 11 plus, here are the best beaches that I would recommend because they're usually able to handle, you know, higher current, stronger waves, higher waves, and they want to be in it, right? That's kind of how my niece and nephew are. They want to be like boogie boarding in the thing. They want to have a lot of fun with high energy. And so I would recommend Hapuna is one of them because the waves can be very mellow some days, and other days I'm 5'10", other days it's twice my height. So you really don't know what's going to happen. I would check the weather. But it's a really fun beach to go to, and it's very challenging and it's beautiful. Magic Sands is another one where I would go. The only thing about Magic Sands is you have to be a little bit aware of the strong current and the fact that the bottom is all rocks. So you have, it's called Magic Sand because the sand is magic and it appears or disappears depending on the tide. And so when it's high tide, usually like if it's really, really high tide, there is no beach because the water goes all the way to the street. If it's a normal high tide, you have white sand, and the waves are quite big and they crash. And under the sand is all rock. And when there's low tide, all of the sand goes away into the ocean. And you'll see just black rock everywhere, and it's not really a usable beach. So what you have to keep in mind about Magic Sand is that it's a beautiful beach for snorkeling, really fun to boogie board, but it's known to be a head cracker because once you get caught in a wave and you hit the ground, it's actually like rock. There's very little sand there, so you will get like pretty bad hits, but it's really fun. You just have to keep that in mind and watch for that. They have what is it called? They have lifeguards there. They'll yell at people if they're doing anything unsafe. They also have lifeguards at Hapuna as well. Okay, so the other beach that I would recommend is Kua Bay. Kua Bay is beautiful. It's again really close to Kailua-Kona. You can easily just drive down there, just a short walk, and you're right there. Has really fun snorkeling, really fun boogie boarding. You can swim back and forth across the bay. It's pretty cute. The only thing about Kua Bay is that it's a smaller bay. It's very small when you compare it to other places. So I really recommend getting there very early so that you can set up and have your own spot. It's not like Hapuna, that's just a huge beach and you can get there at any time and find a spot. Kua Bay will get crowded really quickly. If you don't get there early, you might not find a spot. If you're looking for something a little bit more interactive, less beachy, more like snorkeling, I would go to Two Steps. Two Steps is down south, probably about 45 minutes from downtown Kailua-Kona, and you don't have any beach. There's no beach there. It's all rocks, just a few little patches of sand, and then on the left side, right when you walk into Two Step, there's like a boat entrance or boat strip where you like can put your boat into the ocean. Right there's a tiny area where you have some sand. It's very shallow, so like young little kids could stay there. But on the other side, the real Two Step, when you think of Two Step, it has two steps that are carved into the lava rock that you take and then jump into the water. And it's kind of deep, not super deep because it's very clear water, so you can see all of the coral, all of the fish, all of the turtles. Like we've gone on Christmas Day and we've seen pods of dolphins come from, a deep area where you can't see anything, and they came out of there. And that was really, really cool and very magical. So when I've heard of whales in the area as well, so it's a beautiful area if you have kids that aren't too afraid of waves, aren't afraid of jumping into the water into a deeper area, and they want to snorkel and see all these fish. It's easy to get back in, you just wait for the wave and then use the wave to get onto the step and then walk off of those 2 steps. Okay, so the other thing that I would recommend if you're looking to do certain activities with kids 11 plus is I would definitely do the Manta Ray night dive. The main thing about the night dive is you have to ensure that the kids are able to stay still. If they can't stay, so this is the ocean, they give you a board, the board has lights on it, and what you have to do is you have to grab onto the board and stay right on the surface of the water, right here, as still as you can be. If your kids are able to do that at night and breathe through a snorkel or breathe out, then it's going to be a great experience because the mantas are actually going to come and eat the plankton off of the board and all that good stuff. If they're not able to and they get like this perpendicular to the water constantly, the mantas are not going to come. They don't come. They want you to be horizontal. So if they stop and they want to breathe and all that kind of stuff, the mantas are not going to come, because the first time that we did the manta dive, we were on the board and there were younger children, probably 7 to 8, and they were not able to do that. They were scared of it's a night dive, right? So they were scared of the fact that everything was pitch black except for right there. And so the mantas wouldn't come. We could see them coming to other boards, but they wouldn't come to our board because people kept going perpendicular. Okay, the other thing that I would do is I would definitely do the volcano park hikes. The reason why I said maybe it's better for older kids is because it can be a little bit boring. Some of the kids might find this kind of boring, looking at Sulphur Steam Vent. It's a really long drive to get there from Kona or Waikoloa. It's between 2.5 hours to like 3.5 hours, depending on how fast you're going. And then you get there and it may feel a little bit disappointing if you're a younger kid, because the lava is not always running, and the days that it's not actively flowing, it's mostly just a few steam vents, a few caves, and hikes around what I think is beautiful. But I've brought some friends with younger kids who thought this was like the most boring park ever and such a hike to get there. So that's just something to keep in mind. They have awesome hikes where you go through full craters and you just feel like such a small ant because everything is so big. But you know, you need some perspective, I would say, to enjoy that area. The other thing that I would do is I would do coffee farm tours. Those are really fun, but maybe a little bit boring for younger kids, because they go around, they explain to you how the trees grow, the cherries, how they collect the cherries, and then you can actually roast your own coffee. So it's a fun thing to do, but it's just might be a little bit more slow paced. You could definitely do the Puna chocolate farm tours or the classes. They have 2 shops, one in Hilo, one in Kailua-Kona, where you can take a chocolate class and make your own chocolate truffles or whatever it may be that day. Of course, you should do surfing, supping, kayaking, all that good stuff. They also have lei making classes where you can go if you have like younger kids who want to do more like minutious things, and that's kind of cute and fun. You can do helicopter tours where the helicopters will take you over, let's say like you don't want to hike, they'll take you over all of different areas like Mauna Kea, the crater, Loa, or all the way down to the volcano area or over the waterfalls. You can choose kind of the route that you want to go, but it's really, really fun and once in a lifetime type of opportunity to do that. You definitely could do also a fishing trip. Fishing trips are so fun, and the reason why I kind of talk about fishing trips for younger kids is because it's not like Florida or California where you have to get on the boat, and to really get to the right depth or right area, you have to be on the boat for like an hour to 2 hours to get out so that you can see the whales, you can see the dolphins, you can start fishing. Because we're on a volcano, it only takes 15 to 20 minutes from the shore to get to the right depth. So it's awesome because you're right there. It's not like a huge thing where you're just bored out of your mind waiting to get to the right place. So that's kind of fun. You could also they have rescue animal hikes with the local rescue center where you can take, like my husband and I do that, where we go, I think it's $15 for people with a Hawaii driver license. But essentially you go there, they have rescue animals that would like to go out on day trips. And so let's say that you're thinking, oh, we're going to go hike Pu'uwa'a or Mauna Kea. You can take a dog with you. You get a cute little backpack that talks about their rescue story, and they get to go outside and exercise. They give you little treats and things like that. And then at the end of the day, you can bring back the animal so that it stays in the shelter. So that's a lot. I talked through a whole bunch of options. I hope this video was helpful and talked about different activities that you can do with your kids. Please subscribe to the channel. We have way more videos that relate to real estate, the Hawaii Big Island, and also like fun activities that you can do right here from a local's perspective. So check out the channel, and I hope I'll see you soon. Aloha!